Boozed and Confused is a comedy and weird topic podcast. Adult language may be used, probably by me. While our episode topics may be educational in nature, we are not responsible if your children start dropping the F-bomb to their kindergarten class. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everybody.
Shh, the baby's sleeping.
The baby is sleeping. If you usually listen on if you usually listen on Mondays, and you've noticed that there's no new episode, it's because it's Monday night and we are recording today's episode. We're doing it live. We're a little behind. Give us some grace. Anyways, I'm Carolanne.
I am tired.
And this is Boozed and Confused.
Hey, everybody.
Late night edition. Late night being like 9 o'clock.
Ooh. Oh, it's like 9:45.
Yeah, it's closer to 10 than 9.
Put those kids to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, I do actually have the baby in bed. I have the baby monitor watching her. I'm watching her through the baby monitor. And I'm still getting used to the baby monitor, so I'm always waiting for like some paranormal activity shit to happen.
Oh, yeah, can't wait.
Well, and today's topic is very fitting for this. So before we get into it, a few housekeeping items.
Oh, I love this part.
Also, randomly, completely off topic, from last week's episode, we talked about forever chemicals in makeup, so PFAS in your like cosmetics, and I had to go buy a bunch of new cosmetics on yesterday, because I haven't worn makeup in like a year, and it turns out my skin tone has completely changed from being a creature of the house, and so I bought L'Oreal. I only bought L'Oreal, which is a brand I would never have touched before, but I bought it because they eliminated PFAS in their products in 2018. So
yeah, so this episode brought to you by L'Oreal.
yeah, totally. Cool. Okay, housekeeping items. The first one.
Yes.
What is usually the first one? If you
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, keep going.
If you're on social media, God, we'll get back into it, I promise. If you are on social media and you want to hang out with us, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. As you can imagine, I've been lacking a lot over the last few weeks or so, but hopefully when we start getting into a groove, we can pick things back up a little bit more. But I always appreciate the tags and the stuff that you guys send in. And if social media is not your thing, you can send us an email at boozedandconfusedpodcast@gmail.com. Would love to hear your creepy stories, whatever is going on in your life. What else? If you like the pod and you want to support us, the best way that you could do that is by leaving us a review and subscribing or following wherever you get your podcasts, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts. It makes a huge difference, I promise. And I say this every week, but it definitely goes for every independent podcast that you listen to. It makes a huge difference, and I'm sure it would make their day to get a nice note from you. So yeah. Definitely go leave a review. And for us, if you leave a review and you take a screenshot and send it to us, we will send you some Boozed and Confused stickers for free.
It's free for you.
It's free for you. Last one. What are you drinking?
This is a Stone Delicious IPA.
And there's what is the drawing on the front of it?
So it's a devil.
Yeah, it's very neat.
I like these guys. They sponsor, I think it's San Diego Loyal, which is a USL soccer team.
Of course.
Coached by Landon Donovan.
Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Exactly.
I'm also indulging in some booze for the first time in a while. I'm just drinking a Smithwicks. That's it. And I have a bottle of water right next to it just to even myself out. So...
Yeah, she's doing 1 and 1.
We're just easing back into it. Earlier, late last week, we went to like a concert in the park, and I was drinking a beer that was like 7.5%, and I had half of it, and I was like, you know what? I think I'll stop here.
Actually, I think it was this one. Yep, it was this one.
Yeah.
You had half of it.
I did have half of it. I know my limits. All right.
I haven't found my limits yet. This newly acquired dad strength goes in many directions.
My mom's strength is I survive on 2 to 3 hours of sleep and just do it all again the next day.
And bagels.
Actually, it's Costco bagels that get me through the day.
Yeah, you seem to have left the sourdough bread.
Yeah.
And gone all in on bagels.
Yeah.
The amount of bagels we have in this house is ridiculous.
It's a lot.
The amount of bagels we have per human who can eat a bagel is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have shit to do with today's topic other than just knowing the name and posting everything for it on social media. So.
Yeah, I didn't even share the doc with you.
No, I want to go in blind. I don't want to know anything.
All right.
Make it so creepy that I can't sleep at night. Or I just sleep staring at the baby.
We're not going to sleep either way. Let's be honest.
It doesn't matter.
Let's be honest. Well, I wanted to title the episode, Why the Hell is My Baby Screaming at 3 a.m.? But I think we decided on Baby Folklore of the Old World.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, as recently leveled up to parent human beings, as I'm sure many of our listeners, I know my mom is definitely a parent. If you've ever had a baby, odds are you've been conscious during the haunting hours of the night, more times than you can count. I don't know why I picked this topic. Really, no idea. We don't have this problem ever.
Which problem? That
being up at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, no, never. No. When people, I just have to say, guys, girls, friends, people of the pod, when you know somebody who has just given birth to a baby and they're fresh, under 2 months old, don't ask them if the baby is sleeping through the night. Don't ask them if they're a good baby. Just say, hi, how are things going? Because I promise you, they're not sleeping. And it's just going to piss them off.
It doesn't piss me off.
Oh, it doesn't piss you off. It pisses me off.
No, nothing pisses me off.
Of course, the baby's not sleeping through the night. The baby needs to eat every 2 or 3 hours.
Look, guess who is about to complete their Pokédex in Pokemon
you.
Sword? You know how much quality catch-up time I've had with that game?
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, that's fair.
The one-hand playing mode is an absolute lifesaver.
I just watched Love Island on mute.
It's trash.
It's fine.
I'm actually making a difference in the world.
Yeah, okay. Okay, back to the topic. It's fine. Enough side talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this later.
Yeah. Also, guest speaker might be Apollo the cat.
Yeah, he's very chatty tonight.
Yeah, he's a bit hangry, even though I gave him a snack. Probably should just fed up the entire thing.
It's fine. We'll keep going.
No, we will pause at one point. Not sure when that's going to happen, but we will pause.
We'll pause now.
Okay, so we did pause, and we did a lot of things. Fed the cats. Baby's awake. That didn't last long. But hey, we're here. Yeah, but folks from all over the world, since the dawn of time, have faced the daunting task of caring for a child at the odd hours of the night. But not us. No way.
Yeah, no.
Never.
No, never.
Never, not even once. But nowadays, on the off chance that our little one keeps us up at ungodly hours, we can turn to the experts and get a ballpark answer to why she's freaking out at 3:16 a.m. on a Tuesday.
And it's not just because Mercury's in retrograde and there's a full moon, and also I don't know what else.
Yeah, but it's taken a long time for this knowledge to become common knowledge. less than enjoyable baby stuff also like took time to be understood. So let's take a look at the wild history of tired parents trying to figure out why their little bundle of joy was terrorizing them in the middle of the night.
I'm looking forward to it.
So we're going to go to Old World Estonia.
Ooh, my favorite vacation place.
Yeah, it's on my list for sure. So this takes us back before Christianity really made its way into the area of the world, and like nature worship was kind of the way of the land. Actually, like modern day Estonia is still pretty open to folklore of the old days, especially in the southern portion of the country. So the folktale that we're looking at is called, Ukitaya.
That sounded so confident and so good.
I played the Google thing like 15 times. Ukitaya.
Yeah, okay.
Or the Night Wailer.
Okay.
Yeah. So the, call it a phenomenon, I guess, began in Estonia during the 19th century. So people used to blame the continuous crying of children at night on the influence of a number of things. Some things like dead relatives visiting, nightmares and diseases caused by breaking a taboo in the family, possibly some incorrect behavior of the mother during her pregnancy.
Oh.
Yeah, or even the possibility that the mother may have been startled by an animal during her pregnancy.
Oh, that's really strangely specific.
Yeah, but it's always the mom's fault.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nothing changes. Nothing changes.
You know, the mental load of women has been around apparently for centuries, so it's fine.
I was feeding our baby at Costco, and a couple of old ladies came by and said how great of a dad I was.
Literally doing the bare minimum of feeding his child, and he's a great dad.
I am a great dad.
Yeah, that's fine.
I am a great dad. But a somewhat newer piece of folklore refers to the Nututaya.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
That was really good.
I spelled the word out, and then
Yeah.
I had these syllables
Like
all
the
fixed up.
phonetic-
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So think of this one as like the evil eye,
Okay.
which is a pretty well-known thing. It dates back to at least ancient Greece, but it's found all over the place. Tradition says that a child who starts to cry a lot is under the influence of the Nututaya, often described as an old widow with black hair.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah. It happens when this old spinster lady drops by for a visit to a family with a new child. So while she's visiting, she pretends to notice the child, and she says something like, "What do you have moving there on the bed?" And naturally the parents are going to say, "Oh, it's a baby." And then she'll go like, "Huh, but he's lying so still. Do others have to do things for him?" And like that comment is allegedly like the beginning of a curse.
Wait a second. So these people, they just let her into their house.
It's common courtesy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally.
It's common courtesy.
Yeah.
I almost sold a bench to an old lady who
Yeah.
drove up on me after I got back from working earlier today.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just common courtesy.
That's fine.
So yeah, also a little bit of behind the curtain moment here. It is almost 7 p.m. Tuesday, because like the very thing I was talking about, the baby screaming in the night, was happening to us.
It happened.
It happened.
She had a bad night last night.
Oof.
So it's taking us a while, but we're getting this episode out. And next week's should be on time because we're gonna do it not Monday.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So anyway, that comment from the old woman begins the curse. And like from that night on, the baby will just wail in their sleep all night, every night. And the only way to stop the screaming, the parents have to get a hold of like cloth from the old woman's clothing, and then they have to like light it on fire, but like not like incinerate it. It has to start kind of like smoldering, kind of like smoking, and they have to like rub it on the baby.
This is very complicated.
Yeah, that's like the only way. There's also like a less effective way of breaking this curse, and that is to get some old rope you have like in the barn, of course. Dunk it in water, like kind of like sprinkle the water from the rope on the baby, then coil the rope and to pull the baby through it 3 times.
That sounds like some shit someone made up.
Yeah, but it only works on Thursday nights.
Yeah. Okay, great. That was going to be my next question.
Right.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, what are you doing this Thursday?
I guess apparently performing some sort of like old lady exorcism on our baby.
Look, I'm just saying, I think our little one was doing great until that lady asked for the bench.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I'm just
I'm
saying.
having a lot of questions now pop up into my mind.
She told me where to find her.
Yeah.
So I could grab some clothing too,
So,
and then like
yeah,
burn
just
it.
light it
or
on
whatever.
fire,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Maybe that'll be our next pod episode.
Hey, so Matt is in jail. He
Join us on
accosted an
this
old
exorcism.
woman. Anyways, that was fun. Some other fun Estonian birth myths for you. Birth and baby myths for you. If a baby is born on the last day of the week, they will marry late in life or never at all.
Oh, well, ours was born on a Tuesday.
So she's great.
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
It is Tuesday.
Oh, sorry
It is
for
Tuesday.
all the English people that
Do
listen.
you remember when England lost?
I
in the
do
final?
remember when England lost. Yeah, that was, I don't know, very happy with that.
I'm very happy with the result, but I feel bad for like 2 people.
I feel bad for 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our nice friends in Colorado. Those Leicester fans.
Oh, yeah.
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 They were cool. They were cool. Other stuff. Other weird ones. If someone like walks on the water, like tramples the water of a newborn's first bath. So like the water you use from the baby,
Right,
you're going to boil it and probably drink it later. The baby will have a crap life, and everyone's going to hate that poor kid.
Oh,
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. If you pass anything over the baby's head, that will force the baby to not grow very well. But if that were to happen, kind of like we put the binky on the head, to reverse that, you have to pull a hair out of the baby's head. So,
that's super easy.
Yeah, you've got, for us it is.
Well, I forgot a lot of babies are not born with full heads of hair like ours was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's already like a L'Oreal.
Yeah, we're gonna start
model,
braiding
yeah.
it soon.
Oh yeah. And also, last thing, when the baby is being put into the cradle for the very first time, you put a knife, a cross, a key, and some red yarn in there with the baby to protect the baby against evil.
With the baby, you put a knife in the baby's crib.
Yeah, it's to protect the baby from sorcery and evil.
Okay, so what if I try to wake the baby up and the baby doesn't want to be woken up, and then the baby starts a knife fight with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
If you bring the wifey, the baby brings the knifey.
That one gives me a lot of anxiety, but that's fine.
Oh yeah, considering like we can't put anything in the bassinet.
Yeah, for anyone who like doesn't have kids or
extreme anxiety.
has or hasn't had kids for, I don't know, like maybe 20 years. There's now like a campaign called the Back to Sleep campaign, and it follows all the safe sleep practices where you can only put your kid to sleep on their back, literally nothing in the crib, no blankets, no nothing. And babies hate it. It's not comfortable at all, which is why so many newborns really don't sleep well. But
Thanks,
at least
science.
they're alive.
Thanks, science. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take us to Ireland now.
Yes, I'm very excited about this one.
So, like, this one is interesting, and then it gets really dark.
Oh, no.
But then I'm going to lighten it up at the end.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of background info. According to Irish folklore, the fairies were the very first people to, like, arrive and live in Ireland. They're magical, they're secretive. But when other, like, tribes of people began to settle in Ireland, the fairies, like, shrunk themselves down to a very small size and chose to live underground to, like, avoid any, like, interaction.
Of course.
And fairies are pretty much blamed for anything bad that happens that is, at the time, unexplainable.
Okay. Naturally.
Yeah. When I think of fairies, I usually think of, like, Tinkerbell or like cute stuff like Navi from Zelda.
Yeah. Hey.
Right? Listen.
Listen.
Look. I think of that kind of stuff. But the banshee, the, like, screaming woman in the night, is also, like, under the category of fairy.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a pretty big range
okay.
of fairy.
I always think of fairies as, like, very cute, innocent, but good to know about the banshee.
Yeah, I didn't write anything down for this, but there's, like, little notes of warning. Like, they say, like, if you find, like, a rock, or a larger rock in the road, don't bother it. That's, like, the entrance to the fairies area.
Oh.
And if you mess with it, they're going to come after you.
Okay.
If you see, like, just one bush, not really near anything else, that's also, like, a fairy entrance. Just kind of leave them alone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the reality of the dangers of childbirth and the super high mortality rate for babies and children in the old world are very well known right now. But since they lacked, really any, like, scientific knowledge, answers had to be provided for these, like, unexplainable events. So, like, in medieval times, children born with deformities, illnesses, or conditions that couldn't be easily explained were often thought to not even be humans. Like, the baby that they had was no longer there, and that their, like, wonderful little baby had been stolen or replaced by this, like, inhuman creature called a changeling.
I just want to know how many of these babies died from, like, the knives that were put in their cribs, and people were like, must have been those damn fairies.
Dang it, fairies. So a changeling. A changeling is, like, most often referred to as a fairy who is swapped in to replace a human baby. The real baby could be taken back to the realm of the fairies for, like, a number of reasons. One might be to be put into slave labor.
Okay,
and to
naturally,
work.
yeah.
For the fairies to receive the love of a human child, or for, like, revenge. It's, like, just bad stuff.
For anybody curious, the art for today's episode is actually a changeling. So if you wanted to get an idea of what it looks like, it's pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's well done. It's well done. So the kids are taken away, and the creature that's left behind usually gets sick and dies, or would even be killed by the family, which is great. So a changeling baby might become ill. It might take on a strange appearance, or it might not be able to, like, move its limbs. So all these things were, like, it's the fairies. It's not some, like, birth defect that we could probably figure out nowadays.
This kind of sidebar, this kind of reminds me of in Chicago, we have the Jane Addams Hull House, and Jane Addams had this like a house for women and children, basically, and there is this infamous story about the devil baby that was there. And, like, very long story short, this woman gives birth to a baby, and something like I think they called it the devil baby because of how it looked, but in reality it was probably just a baby that was born with some physical deformities. So I imagine, I don't know, that kind of just reminded me of that, of just like, oh yeah, not any logical, it must be the devil.
Well, I just think of 300.
Oh
When
yeah.
they talk about like only the strong babies get to
Yeah.
live, and there's like a giant skull
Yeah.
mountain, which is super sad.
The strong babies who can perfectly wield the knives that are left in their cribs.
The 6-pack ab babies.
Yeah.
And Gerard Butler was ripped in that movie. And you see him now, and I just, in my mind, I close my eyes and I just see Gerard Butler. It's 300s, King Leonidas. But then you see him now, and it's like,
I have not seen a recent picture.
He's fluffy, but he's lovable. I adore the man. I adore the man. But the babies who were deformed or couldn't move, other problems, were referred to as being fairy struck.
Sorry, I'm just looking at a picture of Gerard Butler. He's
cute.
There's this website that wrote some probably bullshit article about him. And it says Gerard Butler recently got rejected by a young woman in a restaurant who thought he was too old for her. And the title is actually Gerard Butler doesn't look the same as getting rejected by women in restaurants. I mean, I would still date him. He's only 40. Oh, he's probably like 50s. This is an old article.
I would date him. I'd give him a cuddle at least.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So one of the options for the families were to like abandon, kill the baby. Others who suspected that their child had been swapped with a changeling, like still felt they might have a chance to get their baby back. So they would show the changeling love, because they feared that if they showed disdain towards the creature from the fairy world, the fairies would get revenge by like killing the proper baby, and never bring him back. And it's kind of crazy because the belief of this like changeling creature endured in parts of Ireland up until like almost 1900.
No way.
This could easily be a pod on its own, a pod episode.
Changelings in general?
No, just this one event.
Oh, I see.
There's a woman named Bridget Cleary who was murdered by her husband because he claims that he believed that she was a changeling.
That she herself was a changeling.
Yes, and there's a court case.
Oh.
And like he like burned her body like right away, and it was just really sketchy.
When was this?
1895.
Ooh.
I want to say.
I'm going to look into this. I want to do an episode.
Could easily be its own episode. Bridget Cleary. Look it up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a more like realistic view of changelings may point to the reality of poverty in pre-industrial Europe. A family who was impoverished, peasants, frequently relied upon the productive labor of each member of the family, and it was harder to provide for a person who was a permanent like drain on resources, who couldn't, work and help. Mm-hmm. So if a family felt unable to care for a child, especially one who they felt would be of no use to them in the future, due to a condition of something, it would be easier for them to lose a child believing that they had been taken by fairies, than it was to believe that they were going to let their child die.
That is, that's pretty fucking dark.
Yeah. Killing babies, infanticide.
Yeah. Big word.
Lips are buzzing. Yeah. Was a very real aspect of living in the rural lands in the medieval world. And the fact that the changeling tales so often mention like their ravenous appetites, suggests the parents of these poor kids saw them as a threat to their families' existence, and that allowing them to die might be the only way to save everyone else. Yeah, so it got a little dark there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Got a little dark there. But the changeling stories just help them down that like horrible, inevitable path of their baby dying. So yeah, that was dark. But here's a fun bit of history, just kind of like surrounding childbirth. In the early modern period, childbirth brought together female friends and relatives known collectively as gossips, which is like
my family.
Well, originally gossip was like God sibs or siblings in God.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And so throughout this horrible process of childbirth without any kind of like pain alleviation, this large cup called a caudle was used to kind of like strengthen the mother. It was a mixture of oatmeal, water, spices, wine, and maybe even gin. And so they would like drink it throughout the process. And actually, doctors complained of the mothers being too trashed to even have the baby.
I wish that was my case. I mean, not really, because the effects of alcohol on your child, I'm sure, are very real, but would have probably made labor a little bit more bearable.
Right. So that cup that mom got drunk off of throughout the whole birth process, once she was done, Doc would use the cup that was used to wash the baby's head. And the baby's heads were often washed with rum.
I like that.
Right?
We should bring that back.
Let's go upstairs and give her some rum right now.
Little rum bath time.
Yeah.
Please don't call DCFS on us.
Yeah, we're just
We're
joking.
not really going to.
we're just having a giggle. But yeah, that's some fun stuff there. Not the end of that Ireland
Yeah,
one,
not the changeling one, but
I love the superstitions and the myths about stuff that people didn't know about.
yeah, it makes me feel better that we're not crazy for wondering what the hell is wrong with our kid for not sleeping.
It's usually gas.
It's always gas.
It's almost always gas.
She's just a little gassy.
I actually got a video of her with her little maraca, and she shook it, and then she tooted, and I got it on camera.
It's like a cartoon fart. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Well,
speaking of babies, I think I hear our producer upstairs.
Yeah, I can see on the baby monitor that our producer is awake. So this seems like a great time to end the episode. Thanks so much for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, she for sure said wrap it up.
Yeah, she said, if you guys don't get a sponsor, I'm dropping you. So
you gotta do what she says.
All right, well, see you guys next week.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.